I suppose a second close to the historical question, what is the meaning of life, would be the question, is it better to stay married or single? Every now and then I ponder this, whether I'm married or single, and I wish I could say there is one answer. But every time I start looking at the pros and cons of either one, and we're talking about a decision to get married and stay married, with the decision to be single and have the intent to stay single the rest of your life. Now, most of us have had periods in our life where we were single, maybe coming out of high school, and at some point we got married, then we got divorced, then we were divorced and single again for X amount of years. And then we thought, oh, well, we'll give it another try. This one looks like a real contender. I think this could work. And then you have your second marriage or whatever. And then for whatever reason, maybe that doesn't work out. You find yourself single again. Then you discover the Philippines, and it's a whole new ball game because you're dealing with the opportunity to meet a lot of wonderful, good, loving, faithful, traditional Filipino women. And I'm just going to say this for those who haven't heard it already. If you want to meet a good, decent Filipino woman, get to the Philippines, go out in public, find her, approach her, and meet her in person. Find her in person. Stay off the dating sites. I've gone into the details of this in other videos. You can check them out. But suffice it to say that by the time a man gets to the Philippines in the second half of his life, and he's already tried marriage in the West to no avail, it is a whole different ballgame in the Philippines. Because now your problem is really not trying to find a good traditional woman. That's a pretty easy thing to do. I know we hear all the horror stories, but you trace them back, and these are guys who started either long-distance relationships online and tried to make it work when they showed up, or they got to the Philippines and every single woman they met up with, they found her on a dating site. And while he thinks they're having the beginnings of a great relationship, she's still checking her dating profile, talking to 5 other guys, just in case it doesn't work out with you. So again, just approach women in person. You'll have much better odds of finding a good woman. So once a guy finds himself in the Philippines, single, I suppose one thing we can say is each particular guy has a different priority in his life. Some guys, they just know they want to be a husband, they want to have a wife, they want to be a father. They know to their core they are not cut out to spend the rest of their life single. That is not what they want. They want to be in a relationship and contribute and build a family. So for those guys, all we can really say is stay focused, have a standard, stick to it, and don't be afraid to walk away from a woman that cannot provide you with that experience. If she can't love and appreciate you for what you're willing to offer, move on. There's plenty of other good women just hoping to meet a guy like you. So that leads me to the guys with a whole different set of priorities, which is the guys I call the committed bachelors. Now, I have known so many of these guys since 2012, traveling mostly in Philippines and a year in Vietnam. There's a good buddy of mine who I highly doubt he will ever get married. He's there in Vietnam and Cambodia. He's having a great time. He'll have a girlfriend every so now and then, and maybe that lasts 3 months, 6 months, and then he moves on. But he has no intention of ever getting married. He simply enjoys having women in his life. But the whole idea of having a relationship, a commitment to one woman where he will always be there for her and she's supposed to always be there for him, that's not what he's looking for. It's good that he knows that, and so he dates accordingly. He never insinuates or promises this is leading to marriage. It's just kind of fun and games for however long it's fun. And when it's not, everybody moves on. No attachments, none of that. Now, I do know one guy who I thought truly was like the poster child for committed bachelor. He was happy, content, and then he got married. No, I'm sure you've heard that joke. He was happy, content, full of life, just living it up. He spent a lot of time in Philippines and Thailand, back and forth. Just the ultimate bachelor guy. The cool guy that you just want to know and hang out with, have him as your wingman. Life was grand, life was good. Now, I figured never in a million years would he ever want to settle down. But as it turned out, several years ago, he happened to meet a Filipina, an older woman, and they just clicked. And he was, I suppose you could say, thinking, well, this is awesome. She's like a fantastic girl to have in my life right now. But I guess it filled a place in him that no other woman could really touch. And they dated and stayed together for a good 3 years before finally deciding to get married. And he was 100%, still is, just living life to the fullest, being a married guy. He's totally stoked with it. It's all awesome. Again, I never thought he would make that decision, but I'm very happy for him that it all worked out really great. Now, there are pros and cons, of course, to either one of these. And as I've already presented here, it's not a matter of one size fits all. All guys should not be married. All guys are not better off single. It really comes down to your priorities, and once you've chosen one or the other, you have to be willing to accept the negatives that come with that. Now, the positives in marriage is you've got somebody to build a life with, somebody who knows you intimately and what your dreams are, and they're your constant, stable companion in life. There's a lot of great things about having a good marriage. But the negative side is that in a marriage, you're really talking about commitment, or at least the best shot and attempt we can make at commitment as humanly possible. So when you're committed to somebody and it's all, great during the dating time, and then you get married and then you settle in, what can and often happens is you start getting into the more daily routine sort of things. And some of those are great, some of them are not so great. The negative side is that, as I see it, two things. One, if you're committed to that one woman, you're also committed to whatever flaws she has, which will kind of get under your skin once in a while and drive you nuts. You're committed to making it work and calculating that the pros outweigh the cons. You love her far more than those times that she just drives you crazy. So it's a package deal. The other part of being married is that if by definition you're committed to this one woman, that means you can't be committed or even involved with other women. Now, when you're a man in the Philippines and you could literally date a different woman every 24, 48 hours, and I'm not exaggerating, anybody who's lived here any time at all knows, if you want to go on a date with a beautiful Filipina, you just get out there and make it happen. It will happen. So when you commit yourself in marriage to this one woman, you are de facto forsaking and turning aside not just all the women that you could have been with up until the time you got married, but after marriage, any women that you run into just as a matter of course of life. And you will bump into other great Filipina women who they're not the usual Hollywood, like you see in the movies. It's not the temptress who's the bad woman who is going to seduce the married guy and she's really bad news. No, those are out there. But you might run into a Filipina who is a good woman. A woman that if you were single, you would have pursued her for a marriage. But the thing is, again, marriage is commitment. If you're gonna be married, you're really telling that woman that you're marrying, I'm committing to you. And I'm not gonna commit to to other women. So there you got some yin and yang when it comes to making the decision that you want to find, marry, and stay committed to one woman. So now let's look back again to what is the single guy looking at? Well, every woman that he gets involved with, he has to make it clear, I'm not looking for marriage. I'm not looking to offer commitment. Do not get that idea. I do love hanging out with you. I love having you over. I love going places with you. But this is not step one towards seeing if we could last as a couple. This is just, hey, it's fun when it's fun. And if you find someone else, no sweat. If I find someone else, hey, I'm letting you know in advance. There is no commitment here. If you're gonna live as a committed bachelor, you have to set the table right up front. Otherwise, there's gonna be disappointment, and where there's disappointment, there will be either anger or sorrow. So to avoid that disappointment, you have to be upfront. That way, when they find out that you're dating some other girl on Tuesday, they already knew you're not their boyfriend. There is no monogamous exclusive commitment between you two, and she'll be able to handle it a little better. Now, of course, the problem with being the quote-unquote chicks boy is that you're going to get involved with women and you can tell them up front, hey, I'm not looking for a girlfriend. I love hanging out with you, but just so you know, I plan to stay single the rest of my life. And the only thing this Filipina hears is challenge accepted. They are going to make it their mission to change your mind. It's just part of human nature that we want the one thing that is out of reach or we can't have. And so when you do go and date another girl on a different date of the week, the other one is probably going to act exactly like a jealous girlfriend would act. And that's when you know you have to look at this woman who's now getting jealous and bent out of shape and angry or extremely sorrowful. And you have to say, you know what? I do love hanging out with you, but this means more to you than it does to me. I don't want to cause you any aggravation. I don't want to cause you any sorrow. It's probably best we just don't see each other anymore. And follow through with that. She's not ready to just have fun. She's looking for a relationship. So you need to be able to recognize that and just move on from her. There are plenty of women who, for a variety of reasons, they don't want commitment. I know I've had women in my life, Filipinas, who verbally, they told me, I want to spend time with you, but I do have one rule. Do not fall in love with me, because I just need a guy that I can feel comfort with and love and intimacy and all these things. But she said, I'm getting over some stuff with my ex, father of her child. And she was not ready to commit to anybody. So there are women for a variety of reasons who want to be involved with you as a single committed guy. They're not looking for Mr. Right. They're just looking for Mr. Right now. You're just the temporary guy who's going to be sort of the emotional teddy bear to get them through whatever phase of their life they happen to be going through right now. And then later in life, maybe they'll go looking for a serious relationship with someone else. I've even been with a complete 100% lesbian, living with a lesbian girlfriend. And we just happened to meet by chance, and we would get together every week or so. It's not that she was looking to change her lifestyle or to go 100% straight. She just, for whatever reason, chemistry and happenstance, figured that for a 3-month period of time, she wanted to get together with a man. So I never heard from her after that. I don't know. Maybe she just stayed a lesbian. Maybe. I have no idea. But the point being, there are plenty of women out there for the committed bachelor who are not looking for commitment. They're just looking for a fun time. Maybe they think they're in the prime of their life, their early 20s. They want to make the most of their independence. They want to be the butterfly. And for that reason, they're not asking for and they're not offering commitment. Now, the downside, I know you're thinking, well, how could there be a downside? Well, the downside is both you and these women who have this mindset tend to be a bit promiscuous, which then opens up the door for a higher likelihood of STDs, unplanned pregnancies. This can really complicate your life. Not to mention, you've got to become a very good judge of character, because women who know they're talking to a man who is just looking for a good time, they know they're talking to a man that is distracted. He is too highly focused on the pleasures of that arrangement. And these kind of women are basically predators looking for that vulnerability so that they can either steal your stuff when you're asleep or just con you out of money by building up what looks like more emotional attachment than there really is. It's a con job, and plenty of guys fall for it. So, to wrap it all up, there are great advantages to being married, but when you consider all the responsibilities that come with marriage, there's a whole lot of freedom and non-responsibility. All you got to do is take care of yourself when you're a committed bachelor. So what you got to do is decide for yourself which means the most. Does it mean more to me that I'm building something with one person and I'm willing to take on those responsibilities and forsake others and forsake other women? Or is what has the highest amount of priority in my life, my freedom, my ability to go about and live my life and do as I please with no interference from anyone else? If that's what's more important to you, well, then maybe being a committed bachelor is life for you. Love to hear from you what's most important to you, the decision you made, and what factors were most important to you in coming to that decision.